Welcome back. Over summer, tech companies have been releasing their global demographic data, and the statistics don't make happy holiday reading for digital bosses. Females fill fewer than 20% of tech jobs at Facebook and Yahoo. Here's Zella Chin on the efforts being made to get more women into tech roles.
Celebrate everyone's success. Cheers.
At this award ceremony in West Kowloon in July, entrepreneurs are eagerly awaiting the results of a global startup competition.
Please welcome, with a big round of applause, Karen Farzam.
Karen won an award for her achievements in the technology field. It's been a whirlwind year for her. Originally a banker and now business owner, Karen launched her web platform in June. It connects job seekers with opportunities at startups.
Our startup showcases startups. The main problem that they have is that they have trouble to recruit people. We want to showcase who they are and what they believe in. And once you know a company, you'll be more inclined to go and work for them.
Good work.
While setting up the business, Karen and her partner were on the verge of hiring a web developer to build the website.
I studied computer science 10 years ago at university. I saw that I could maybe just do it myself. So I found a web development immersive course and learned how to code in order to be able to make my own website.
Coding back in the old days meant writing computer software programs. Now it's often about writing code for websites and mobile phone apps.
The tech entrepreneur says learning to code was one of the best ideas she's ever had.
My co-founder, she can focus on marketing and business development, and I can focus on tech and on developing the websites. So it's great because we really have complementary skills.
In January, the novice programmer created a brand new community for female web developers, women who code.
The idea just came up at a web developer meetup where we arrived, and we were like two girls surrounded by 50 guys, and we were just wondering where were all the girls. So we decided to try to gather some people for our first event. 15 girls show up.
The original 15 blossomed into more than 100 members. At this midweek gathering in Central, they're digesting some web-savvy tips.
We want to help women to continue learning about tech. So basically on our monthly event, we have technical speakers that will come and make a presentation on a different topic. And we also wanted to create a safe place for women to ask questions.
But hold on, there's an awfully lot of men here for a women's group.
If men want to come and they are interested in and to help us also to promote women in tech, they are also welcome.
Do we really need a group like that? I mean, you don't see men coding groups. Do we really need a women coding group?
Yeah, I think it's nice for women to hang out together. It's always nice to see that there are other women, especially in this male-dominated industry.
Yeah, you were in some male-dominated industries, like banking and web development.
Yeah.
What sort of discrimination did you face?
I think the main discrimination is the lack of credibility. People just can't believe that you can actually do something as good as men. Sometimes, when people see you and you tell them you're in tech, first they will say, oh, you're a designer. It's what first comes to their mind, or you're doing digital marketing. They don't really believe at first that you can be a coder, for example, but it starts to change.
Global tech firms may come under more pressure to increase diversity after releasing a breakdown of their staff gender balance. It's been a well-guarded secret until now. Google was one of the first tech companies to share its employee data in late May. It has a global workforce of 30% women and 70% men. In tech positions at 17% women and 83% men. The search engine stats are roughly on par with other industry giants. For tech jobs at Twitter, only 10% are filled by women. At Facebook and Yahoo, it's 15%, LinkedIn 17%, and Apple 20%.
I think the gender imbalance is affecting the business. We have a huge user base over the world, and our user base includes a lot of women. And if our products don't reflect the needs and desires of our female population, which they won't if we don't have a lot of women in the organization, then we're not creating the best products that we can.
Google's government liaison Vaishnavi Jaikumar thinks if the company doesn't hire more women, it will lose out to other competitors, which create better products for all consumers. So the company has changed its recruitment procedures to be more inclusive.
One thing that we've actually done now is in our engineer interviews globally, we try and make sure that at least one of the interviewers is a woman to make sure that the views of that group are diverse and representative of Google as a company. I think that's something that's going to make a lot of women much more comfortable with going into the interview process, to know that there are people on the interviewing committee with similar backgrounds and similar capabilities as themselves.
This skewed workforce is not only a phenomenon with American technology firms, it's also happening at Hong Kong companies. In a February survey of 57 Hong Kong IT departments, it found 30 were staffed with less than 10% women, compared with 50% women employed in all of Hong Kong. A women's advocacy group says one of the factors for the underrepresentation is a lack of role models.
And a lack of a network with female peers for a lot of girls. So a lot of times women who are studying technology or engineering can feel very lonely because there are so few female fellow students. So that learning environment, I think, is a big deterrent for girls. For example, we know that Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, HKUST, had 0 female enrollments last year for 2 of its leading undergraduate programs, computer sciences and information engineering.
This issue, we have lack of women in the technology industry. It's a problem in Hong Kong, and it's also a problem in the US. But if they haven't been able to solve this problem, why can we?
We're seeing a lot of interest in this topic in Hong Kong, and it's really encouraging. So, for example, just this summer, 2 local girls' schools in Hong Kong have piloted coding classes for their students.
How many of you have made your own app before?
At this all-girls school in Causeway Bay, this Hong Kong-born and bred woman is grooming a new generation of girls for tech opportunities. 2 years ago, Michelle's son used to teach students to code as a weekend activity.
I enjoyed a lot interacting with young people and was very amazed by how fast they pick up technology as a creative tool. And it was very different from the me that picked up programming at 24 years old, and I was slightly daunted by how it feels like a black box, and I didn't know how to start. And for them, it was just so natural.
Have you set up your beta site?
Fast forward to today, Michelle runs her own coding academy for kids. On this Monday, she's teaching girls as young as 11 years old. They've grown up using apps on tablets, and she hopes they can use the coding skills to create their own technology. It's a labor of love for her because she's a graduate of the school.
Anyone can tell me what you see when you think about this term, software engineers?
And she hopes to break down the gender stereotypes of the field.
From my experience growing up, if I think about a lawyer or a very successful doctor, it's not difficult at all to think about, a female face. But when it comes to being a great software developer or a great engineer, they think about a guy with glasses. And that's just a stereotype that is so ingrained in our minds that if we have more female engineers and having that connection with these young girls, it will help them at least kind of have another role model to think about when they consider a career path.
And Michelle appears to be succeeding with these budding app developers. This 15-year-old is often thinking of using apps to improve her day-to-day life. After this intensive course, Delpreet hopes to turn some of her virtual ideas into app reality, such as
maybe a place where people can draw pictures on their phone and share it.
Do you think you would maybe do this as a career, be a programmer, make apps as a career when you grow up?
It's quite possible because I'm very interested in programming. Because Michelle is from our school, and it makes me feel that it's more possible if I want to be an engineer or a programmer.
The solution to the industry's woes may lie with the aspirations of a 15-year-old girl and her app-making peers.